This moose belongs to me, by Oliver Jeffers. There's a dedication over here for Mac and Adriana. Here we go. Wilfred owned a moose. He hadn't always owned a moose. The moose came to him a while ago, and he just knew, that it was meant to be his. He thought he would call him Marcel. That's his little take, Marcel. He began following Marcel, explaining the rules of how to be a good pet. Rule number 3. I wonder what rule that could be. Much of the time it seemed as though the moose wasn't listening, but Wilfred knew he was. Mostly because he followed rule number 4 very well. Not making too much noise while Wilfred plays his record collection. Sometimes the moose wasn't a very good pet. He generally ignored rule number 7, going whichever way Wilfred wants to go. The moose had a very good sense of direction, and Wilfred did not. And because the moose was particularly poor on rule number 7, section B, maintaining a certain proximity to home, Wilfred quickly learned to bring some string along on his outings, so he could find his way back again. Sometimes the moose was an excellent pet. He had no trouble with Rule 11, providing shelter from the rain. Or Rule 16, knocking down things that are out of Wilfred's reach. Good work. One day, as Wilfred discussed their plans for the coming year on a particularly long walk, he made a terrible discovery. Uh-oh. What could this discovery be? Someone else thought they owned the moose. Rodrigo, you're back! Wilfred was dumbstruck. His moose was Marcel, not Rodrigo. The old lady was mistaken, and Wilfred thought it only proper that he corrected her. This moose belongs to me, he explained. And to prove it, he called Marcel. Heel! But the moose did not respond. He seemed more interested in the old lady. Good, Rodrigo. Embarrassed and enraged, Wilfred rushed off for home. Fine! But in his haste, and miles from anywhere, he tripped over his string and got tangled up. And there he lay. This is a problem, boys and girls. I wonder what will happen next. Wilfred was beginning to get a little bit worried. It was past his home time now, and the monsters would be out soon. He had just ruled out the last of his options. So he ruled out the lumberjack bear, a hammer, a lightning storm, this sea creature with a saw, a penguin. When along came the moose and performed Rule 73 3 brilliantly, rescuing your owner from perilous situations. All was forgiven, and perhaps Wilfred admitted he'd never really owned the moose anyway. With that in mind, he and the moose reached a compromise. The moose would agree to all of Wilfred's rules. Whenever it suited him. Dominic, you're back! And you brought me an apple! All right, boys and girls, so this is your moment to take a look at your Google slide and decide which of the 2 questions out of the 3 you would prefer to answer. So you can reply with selecting your favorite part, as well as identifying any lessons you learned from this book that maybe the author presented, or finally comparing a character, whether it was the moose, Marcel, or our little friend Wilfred here. Remember, when you are doing your reader's response, to please expand your answers. Add details explaining why. Okay? So that's that. I really hope to see some wonderful answers, and I'm excited to read your responses. Thanks. Bye.